Welcome to PREMIA TNC YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll explore the benefits and challenges of setting up a Singapore holding company. An excellent place to start when creating your global holding structure is by forming a holding company in Singapore. Many multinational giants, including Berkshire Hathaway, DBS Group, and Alphabet, Google, have chosen Singapore as a key location for their holding or subsidiary companies. Why? Singapore offers a streamlined incorporation process and a highly advantageous tax system, making it one of the best places to establish a holding company. But while there are clear benefits, there are also challenges to consider. In this video, we'll break down both sides to help you make an informed decision. Let's dive in. What is a Singapore holding company? A Singapore holding company is a distinct legal entity that primarily holds controlling shares in other companies, termed subsidiaries. It does not engage in operational activities itself, but rather possesses full or majority ownership of its subsidiaries, thereby exerting influence over their strategic decisions and operations. Characteristics of a Singapore holding company. To establish a Singapore holding company, it is imperative to secure a pre-approved company name and ensure the presence of at least one resident director domiciled in Singapore. The holding entity is mandated to possess a registered address situated in Singapore, a pivotal requirement that needs approval from the Urban Redevelopment Authority, UI. This meticulous process underscores the importance of attention to detail and adherence to regulatory protocols in the establishment of such corporate entities within the Singaporean jurisdiction. Let's discuss about the differentiating between holding and parent companies. A parent company is legally mandated to prepare financial statements for a group, including itself and its subsidiaries, under the Companies Act. Thus, if a holding company is required to file group financial statements, it also qualifies as a parent company in accounting terms. While holding companies typically exist solely to manage subsidiaries, parent companies often engage in operational management alongside ownership and oversight of subsidiaries. In Singapore, there are two distinct types of holding companies: investment holding companies and financial holding companies. Investment holding companies are the standard corporate form for businesses outside of the insurance, banking, and finance sectors. On the other hand, financial holding companies are specifically designed for those who own businesses within the banking, insurance, and finance industries. Singapore holding company has many benefits. Singapore should be at the top of your list if you're considering building a holding structure. The Singaporean regulatory environment may provide many benefits when establishing a holding company. Loss reduction and versatile management. The number of subsidiaries and other assets your Singapore holding company may own is unrestricted. Furthermore, you are free to base the subsidiaries anywhere in the world, including Singapore. By forming the company under a limited liability structure, liability protection can be ensured. A successful subsidiary will undoubtedly be advantageous to your holding company. However, your holding company will only suffer a loss on the owned shares if the subsidiary performs poorly or even fails. In other words, the controlling company is not responsible for any subsidiary's debts or liabilities. Always keep safety in mind. At the subsidiary level, the same protection stands. The obligation of one subsidiary will not spread to another as long as each subsidiary has its unique legal entity position. As a result, each company unit should have its unique corporate entity. In this way, the holding structure's companies won't be impacted if one of the units collapses. A holding structure may also result in better funding. Your Singapore holding company, for example, can flexibly use the earnings gathered to reinvest in or promote potential subsidiary companies. Group solace. A group relief procedure permits one company to transfer loss items to another company that is a part of the same group. The loss items may consist of the following: unabsorbed capital allowances for the current year, unrecoverable trade losses for the current year, unused donations from the current year, the loss of some items of one company may be utilized to offset the revenue of another subsidiary in the holding structure under the relief system. The company that transfers losses is known as the transferor, while the entity that receives full losses is referred to as the main claimant. Effortless incorporation. In Singapore, a holding company might fall under various business categories. Such entities include limited partnerships and private companies limited by shares, which are commonly known as limited liability companies. Private limited companies are the most popular among them. Its distinct legal status, the limited liability of its members, and its eligibility for numerous tax cut programs are the causes. Online incorporation of a private limited company in Singapore can be completed in a few days. You will only need to provide the required documentation and the necessary information with the assistance of a reputable service provider. The service provider will submit the application on your behalf. Tax benefits in Singapore for holding companies. Singapore offers several tax benefits for holding companies, particularly concerning foreign-sourced income. Dividends from foreign subsidiaries can be exempt from Singaporean corporate tax if certain criteria are met, including a minimum foreign tax rate of 15% in the subsidiary's country of residence. Additionally, Singapore operates a single-tier corporate tax system, where corporate profits are taxed only once. Dividends received by Singaporean parent companies are not taxed, and there are no withholding taxes on interest payments from subsidiaries. Furthermore, Singapore does not levy capital gains tax or transfer taxes on the sale of shares, providing a favorable environment for asset sales. However, gains from asset sales may be subject to income tax if they are a company's primary source of income and the holding period is short. Singapore's extensive network of double taxation agreements, DTAs, with around 80 nations offers additional benefits. Under DTAs, dividends, interest, and royalties received by Singaporean holdings from treaty countries may be subject to lower taxes or even exempt from withholding taxes. To qualify for DTA benefits, the Singapore holding must be considered a tax resident in Singapore, as determined by the Control and Management Test. This test assesses whether strategic decisions and control are exercised in Singapore, with board meeting locations playing a crucial role. Overall, Singapore's tax regime provides holding companies with advantageous structures and incentives for managing foreign-sourced income and transactions. The challenges of forming a holding company in Singapore. Your Singapore holding company ought to benefit the local economy and shouldn't be created to avoid paying taxes. You must adhere to the following standards in Singapore. Firstly, country-by-country reporting. Your holding company in Singapore must file a country-by-country reporting to the local tax regulatory authorities on behalf of each entity in the group if the following conditions are met. It is the group's ultimate parent entity and a Singapore tax resident. The group's consolidated revenue in the previous year was at least $1,125 million. And the group has at least one foreign subsidiary or operations in a foreign jurisdiction. Secondly, arm's length principle. The arm's length principle is accepted in Singapore for transfer prices between related parties. Simply put, when a firm in your holding structure transacts with another affiliated company within the same group, the pricing must be the same as if the same transaction had taken place with a different unrelated company outside the group. Thirdly, Singapore holding companies reporting issues. Additionally, complicated structures may make it more challenging to implement meticulous planning and efficient management. The paperwork will be tedious. There may be potential disputes between subsidiaries. Since decisions could affect the entire holding structure, they are likely to be made more slowly. When the holding company expands, new problems could start to appear. How to set up and register a Singapore holding company. To set up a holding company in Singapore using a private limited company structure, follow these steps. Step 1. Choose a company name. Inform your service provider of your proposed company name before purchasing the service package. Step 2. Prepare required documents. Provide documents detailing the company's specifics and the backgrounds of its directors and shareholders, individuals or corporations. Step 3. Use a business incorporation service. Foreigners are advised to use a Singapore business incorporation service, which can help meet regulatory requirements and handle the application. Step 4. Local requirements. Have at least one local resident director. Provide a local Singapore office address. Appoint a company secretary within 6 months of incorporation. Appoint an auditor within 3 months unless the company qualifies as a small company. Step 5. Submission to ACRA. The service provider submits the full application to ACRA. Processing takes 1 to 3 business days, though it may extend to a few weeks if further review is required. This process ensures compliance with Singapore regulations while streamlining the registration of your holding company. Setting up a Singapore holding company. PREMIA TNC strongly recommends establishing your Singapore holding company as a private limited business. This structure offers security, especially if you register distinct firms for various business ventures, and it allows you to benefit from Singapore's favorable tax system. Check out these key benefits. Low corporate income tax rates. Compared to many other countries, Singapore has modest corporate income tax rates. Tax exemptions. Your holding company can enjoy partial tax exemptions due to tax-cutting measures. No dividend or capital gains tax. There are no taxes on dividends or capital gains. How we can help. If you wish to establish a holding company in Singapore, consult a reliable service provider. They can assist with incorporation and offer supplementary services for your company's future needs. At PREMIA TNC, a top-rated business consultancy firm, we understand the procedures for registering a business in Singapore. If you are a foreigner looking to set up a local business, you will need to do so through a registered filing agent. Our experts will work closely with you to ensure a smooth registration process and achieve the desired results.